So in my time running an agency, I get put in all sorts of uncomfortable situations. It comes with the territory of running your own business. And one that happens, I suppose, not common, maybe uncommonly, maybe once every 2 or 3 months, is a potential client will come in. Let's call them Michael for this round. Michael will come in and they'll say something like, "Hey, look, I don't trust my current agency. I don't know what they do with our time." And in the search world, this is very common, right? Because not everyone understands what we do or knows what we do. And a lot of time I do get approached with people that are just like, "Oh, I don't know what they do with all our time, all our retainer time, can you have a look and tell me what you think?" So what do we do when we get approached with this? That's really the question, right? Just to give you some sort of insight into how I think about it. So what's the core issue? What's the core issue that Michael is having? Quite often, I find, it's actually not about performance at all. Quite often the core issue that I find is that there has been a breakdown in communication. And sometimes it happens because search marketers, sometimes we come from a very technical background, right? And there's kind of this breakdown between marketing managers and search geeks, of which we are search geeks. And you think it's such a small thing, but over time, a lack of communication or a lack of good communication will very quickly erode trust, to the point where where you reach out to someone else and you're like, "Hey, actually, you know what? I don't know what these guys are doing. Give me someone else." So what can you do? What are 3 things that you can do if you feel like you're in this position, if you feel like you're in a position where trust is beginning to be eroded? And by the way, I'm not excluding myself from this happening. It's happened with us as well. And we always look back and we're like, "Oh, we could have communicated a lot better." Anyway, 3 things. The first thing is, if you're unsure about something that the agency does, definitely ask. It is absolutely our job to make sure that you understand what we're doing and why we're doing it. But sometimes we don't know that the message gotten across. So if your search agency is doing something and you're not sure quite what it is they're doing, you should definitely ask. Definitely ask. And if it does not make sense to you, if from a business standpoint, from a general marketing standpoint, it doesn't make sense to you, you should absolutely question it. There is really no practice now in digital and search and kind of across any kind of digital avenue that cannot be explained in such a way that this is like a good business practice. Yeah? The second thing you can do is of course just call them up and make sure that your search team do not work in a silo, because isolation leads to less communication, which leads to a breaking down of trust. Right? Your search team should be an active part of your marketing team. And when I first started in search, this was much more common, where the search team we would do our thing in a silo off to the side, and we wouldn't really know what the rest of the business is doing. I would argue that now the search team has to work kind of hand in hand with the marketing team, side by side. And we, from my experience, we can definitely do much better work if we know what's going on in the rest of the business. And then I suppose, the third and final thing you can do is kind of go and seek a second opinion and, see if you can help. In this case, Michael asked us to kind of put in a proposal. We put something in, went up against a couple of others and we didn't get it, which is fine, we're still good friends. Breakdown of communication is the most common cause of agency-client relationships breaking down. Do you agree? Tell me what you think, give me your comments. Love to hear it. Thanks, guys.